Professor X has his original X-Men, and then they get lost, and then he builds like the Uncanny X-Men.
Oh, really?
Yeah, kind of
cool.
like that's like the original X-Men story, kind of.
Oh, okay. So it kind of like reloops.
Yeah, and that's where you get like the originals, and then you get like the other ones. You get like Storm, Wolverine.
They kind of blew their load with the titles, right? They're doing Dark Phoenix and X-Men First Class.
Yeah, they're already calling that like a piece of shit.
Are they really?
Yeah, I saw like a couple things that people
Not
already-
First Class. I enjoyed First Class.
No,
Right,
there are,
get
but
this.
the Dark Phoenix thing, like how they fucked that up.
Is your mic jammed up, Nick?
Do you think they fucked it up?
I don't know. Well, that's what I've been saying. Like they think they fucked it up.
Yeah.
They rushed it, and I know it's not going to be what we're hoping for. It might be decent.
They might have Punishered it.
They rushed it because Fox just
Ooh.
wanted. Because Fox knew what Disney was going to do.
Yeah.
They canceled all the shit. I told John the Feige just came in and just canceled that shit out. The rest that was not in pre-production, anything that was like just greenlit, got swept under the rug, and they
Yep.
said fuck it.
New Mutants, Gambit, all that stuff's gone.
In Gambit, you had Tatum.
Gambit was an awesome fucking
Yeah.
character.
I don't know how well he
Channing
would have been.
Tatum.
You know, I'll give them credit. They do pick good actors for their parts. They just pick bad storylines.
Well, I mean, I think Hollywood got superhero fever, right? And that's how you got Robert Redford in a Marvel movie. I mean, come on.
Wow, that was still a great part, man.
Yeah.
Goddamn, that guy's a good actor.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if he ever won an Oscar, but shit, man, he's been in some good roles.
Yeah, he's good. First time I remember seeing Robert Redford was in Butch Cassidy and Sundance.
Yes.
Good.
Yes, when they come out at the end and
Yeah.
they just
Fantastic.
I really liked him in Sneakers, though.
Yeah.
This is a great movie. The blind guy doing the clicks on the bridge to figure out where they were at. Who was the bad guy in that?
The guy with the ponytail.
Yeah. What was his name though? He's like a weird dude. He was
can't
like his
remember.
buddy growing up.
Yeah, he thought he was dead.
Yeah, I think that was my first introduction to Robert Redford.
Yeah, and then the next
Was
one
it
after,
Chips or something? Blue Chip.
No, he wasn't Blue Chips.
Yeah, but then was the next one? Next one was probably, and I'm missing.
Oh,
a bunch.
what about he's the Last Castle, right? Where he was
Last
the
Castle.
general.
Yeah,
That was a fucking great movie.
Yeah, and that
remember
was-
when he took all the rocks to the one side?
Yeah,
Yep.
I remember that.
That was great.
Yeah, you said you liked Last Kingdom, right?
Loved it.
Yeah, I'm definitely.
I
digging it.
told
not
you,
done.
I'm glad you put me onto it. I know you thought I put it on to you, but
I swear, I thought you did.
Yeah, it was great, man. It was, and John looked it up. Uhtred, there was no Uhtred,
Yeah,
but he said he probably your name will never be recognized in the history books. So
Uhtred, son of Uhtred.
yeah, I always thought that was funny.
That's hilarious. I kept on saying it the first time you said it. I was going through the house and Brian's like, there's something wrong with you.
And it's like you're exactly right when you said it's like a little bit like Game of Thrones.
Oh,
Kinda
fuck yeah. It's strategic.
like it had that like the wars.
They didn't even really curse a lot and stuff.
No.
You know what I mean? It was really tastefully done.
I wasn't gonna I didn't let Aiden watch it. Then I watched the 3/4 of it, and I'm like, Aiden, you probably can watch this, dude. It's pretty.
Yeah, I mean, there's like raping and stuff like that. But I'm
but they
saying,
don't show it.
Yeah, but
not
it's like
nearly as graphic as Game of
no,
Thrones.
but like how they do it is really tasteful. Think about it. They could have gone extreme with it easily.
It's really. I hope they pick up a 4th season. I don't know. I didn't read up on it.
It's
or not.
supposed to. I think November.
Yeah.
something
Oh, really?
like that. Yeah.
Is it coming out in November, or
That's
is it
what
like they're gonna start
that's what
filming
they
it?
said. After I watched it, I looked it up. It said they were supposed to come out with another season this November.
That's cool. I didn't look it up, but I was really
We'll see.
impressed, and I'm really surprised more people didn't catch on to it because of the Game of Thrones love that's going around. I mean, anybody you talk to, it's like
I thought-
April 14th can't come fast enough.
I looked on the thing. It said it was trending like all the time.
Was it?
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know how many people. It's good.
I put my brother onto it. He's a big binger and likes it. He said he couldn't get past the first couple episodes. But my brother also is very Flash. He likes Flash more than substance. So
You like it?
Trial
Transformers?
Peaky Blinders.
yeah. I'm going to try Narcos first, though.
Oh, Narcos.
You're all hyped up on Narcos, and it
I
seems
like it.
Is that all about the drug trade in the 80s?
Yeah, but the way they tackle it is pretty awesome.
Okay.
I think that's why everybody likes it so much because it's not all the fucking flash and bang. It's how he got to that point, what he was doing before cocaine.
Well, yeah. Well,
how he started trafficking, how he made the routes, how they established the cartels.
Well, the flash and bang was always in those movies, and they always had
It's
to
fucking
upscale.
anno- it's
like
annoying.
American Made. They had to up.
Yeah, it's like watching
big time.
MTV Cribs.
Yeah.
It's like, I want to know how he got there. I want to know how they established the routes. I want to know how they established the cartels. I didn't know all those cartels at one point were like working together. Like they set up like designated areas.
But weren't
and-
they all from way back
Colombia?
Colombia. Then they went into Mexico and stuff like that, right?
Well, originally they had the Mexicans were the delivery service.
Oh, but somehow the
So, like,
Mexicans took over.
Pretty much it got big when they came up with NAFTA, because then they shut down all like the fucking boat routes.
Ah.
So then they had to do like we got to truck it up
Yeah.
through Mexico, because they would I think the percentage was they would only check 10% of the trucks rolling through the fucking border, and they had we didn't
It's
have
like the ports now. It's only 10%.
well, we didn't have enough manpower to check everything coming in through
That's
the
why
fucking
we need
border.
a wall, Jamie.
Well, so like, but like 10%. So they were just fucking making money hand over fist.
Yeah. I can
And then I didn't get to the Mexican cartel yet. I'm only on the Cali cartel, and then after that, I'll watch the Mexican cartel.
I swear to God, man, every time you see movies of the 70s and shit, like period pieces, people were just having a great time with the cocaine.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh,
you
yeah.
know what? It sounds like a good idea, but I'm glad I never tried it.
But what, Coke?
Yeah, it's one thing I never did.
Yeah, you're probably better off without it. All right, let's get this show on the road. I was just doing some notes. I think I'm ready.
Are you ready?
Let's see. Yeah, I'm ready.
Keep this up just in case I am needed.
It's good beer.
Yeah, I like it actually. Where'd you get this at?
I got it at the pizza place down the street. They sell
Which
really good
one's
beer.
that?
The one Goose Creek Grill.
Oh, really? Yeah, I've only been in there once, but the service was shitty.
I can't believe they're selling the quality beer. It's not just Miller Lite and Coors Light and Budweiser and shit.
People are changing.
People are getting more sophisticated with
I
their
love it.
tastes. Yeah. All right, let's get this show on the road. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Nick, John, and Jamie Show. I'm John.
Nick.
And I am Jamie.
Okay, now we're back into the swing of things. We're freezing our asses off because it's like 2 degrees out with the wind chill factor.
Well, it's not that bad down here, though.
Well, it's bullshit
No,
weather.
not in the
though.
basement.
The weather fucking
We have to wear.
sucks.
oh, look at this guy. He hasn't even stepped out of his house all fucking day.
It's true, man. Nick is
I wouldn't if I had
I
the
wouldn't
choice.
either,
Yeah,
man.
fuck it.
He's making a comment like he's freezing. I'm like, dude, you can't say that.
Brian always busts my balls. She's like, "Why won't you like go outside in the wintertime?" I was like, "Because I'm working out in that. Why would I want to go the fuck
Yeah,
out there?
I don't get
fuck
it.
that,
Dude, I went outside this morning and I was joking around with Shannon last night before I went to bed. I was like, I want to do the cup trick because I said it was going to be minus 22 with wind chill.
Yeah.
They said anything below minus 20, you should be able to throw a cup. Like
Yeah.
water and freeze. It didn't fucking work. I think it was because you had to be minus the degree.
The
has to-
actual temperature
actual-
without wind chill.
without wind chill.
Yeah.
dude. Either way, you walk out that door in the morning, it's like
Oh,
somebody
man.
punch you in the fucking
Yeah,
face.
I'd
I'd
go-
go your
I'd
car,
go-
right?
Yeah, fuck yeah.
I'd go
dude.
take my trash out at fucking 7 o'clock in the morning and beat the trash man. I'm like, oh my fucking God.
Yeah, it's
My nuts were sticking to my legs.
it's ignorant outside. It is.
Yeah.
Did you guys? Do you remember? You just reminded me. Remember Joe Dirt when
Yeah.
he met his dog?
Yeah.
Dog had his balls frozen to the
I-
porch.
yeah.
You okay, boy?
He
You
used a
okay?
spatula.
He used a spatula. First, she comes out with a pair of hedge trimmers. She's
Oh,
like,
no.
no.
Well, Joe
God,
Dirt,
no.
Joe Dirt 1 was fine. Don't
Yeah.
watch 2.
Oh, two's
I
a
couldn't do
mess.
it.
It's terrible.
It's terrible. It's right.
He's still milking that cow, man. I'll see him on interviews, and he'll have like a Joe Dirt saying on a T-shirt.
Why
he's
wouldn't you,
wearing.
man? There's so many rednecks out there that love that movie.
It's
That
an
movie's
awesome movie.
fantastic. I bought that movie. It's Jamie.
It's a good movie.
It is a good movie.
It's in the archives.
You bought it in a DVD, the
In
Blu-ray?
a DVD. This is
Wow.
pre Blu-ray.
Wow.
Yeah. So let's get into the box office. So weekend box office. We had real quick. Did you guys before we get into the box office, did you guys see the Blood Moon last night?
No, I heard about it. I didn't see it. It's too cold. I don't want to look outside.
Yeah, I mean, I looked up.
It's
Doesn't
pretty wild.
Did you actually go outside?
Yeah. Cindy and I had a couple cocktails, and we were sitting.
You had to be numb to get out there. So
Well,
it works.
we were sitting on the couch and we were watching. I think we were watching Schitt's Creek. If you're not watching it, it's really good.
What's that on?
It's on Netflix. But we're sitting there, and she must have got a text or a notification or something like that. It was on, cruising through Facebook, and it's like, oh, the Blood Moon's out, and she's like, you want to see it? And I was like, cool. Yeah, let's go. And I went out, and we went out, and it was fucking cold, man.
Yeah.
It was really cold, but we hung in there, man. We're watching the eclipse happen, and then it starts to turn a little orange. It's a little glowing on the edge and everything.
So how does it create? How does the blood? How does it work?
It has something to do with the eclipse.
I didn't know there was an eclipse. I thought the blood moon was just something about how the sun hits the moon.
Well, let's see, blood moon.
You got to bring up a story. You got to know how. I'm kidding. I don't know. I was just.
I didn't.
I was
study up-
curious.
Yeah, they call it the super blood moon. It's the eclipse. It says it's an eclipse that stuns, and it's a remarkable picture. I don't know. I don't want to bore anybody with trying to look this
maybe
up.
it's an eclipse at night, and like the sun, like
It's a lunar eclipse.
okay,
Yeah.
blue moon, blood moon. There are all kinds of full moon.
Yeah,
I don't know.
whatever.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Well, we did a ritual sacrifice. We're down to one child now.
I was wondering what happened to Jack.
So weekend box office, Glass hit the number one spot. It just opened up over the weekend of January 18th to the 20th, and did $40 million.
Do you want to hear a fun fact about Glass?
Would love to.
M. Night Shyamalan actually invested $20 million of his own money
Jesus
to produce this movie.
What? How to do audience wise? I don't give a fuck about the Rotten Tomatoes bullshit. What's the
Audience meter.
the
This-
audience meter?
We
We should just call it the Nick, John, and Jamie meters because that's all we care about.
Yeah, I care about I believe the audience.
Yeah, so do I.
Well, Rotten Tomatoes. This is critics. These are all critics. So IMDb gave it a 7.1 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 36%, and then Metacritic gave it 44%.
Yeah,
Now-
I heard the critics are all over the board on this. Yeah.
Now the audience, to your point, Jamie, from Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 78%.
All right, then I'll give them that.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't interest me to go to the movies to see it. I liked the two previous movies.
Yeah.
But I'll just wait till that comes out on.
If I get the chance, I'll go see.
Yeah.
it.
Did you guys see Split in the theaters or
No,
I saw that.
I didn't see any of them in the theaters. I'm not an M Night guy.
Yeah.
mean, I like some of his movies, but I'm not like, oh man, I got to go catch his movies.
No, I mean, he's kind of lost his thunder. When we talked about this before, but when he was coming off that
Sixth Sense.
Sixth
Sixth
Sense,
Sense,
juice.
that was-
Village.
Yeah.
And by the way, if
There
you
was-
said
Signs.
you knew it
I
was
like
happening,
Signs.
you're a fucking liar.
I know, we all went through
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I did see a video of him. He took a video of him. It was like a Raiders of the Lost Ark type thing,
Mm-hmm.
where he made a movie when he was like 10, must have been 15 years old.
Oh, really?
Doing a Raiders impression about where he like changed the thing. Yeah, it was cool.
No shit.
I meant to send it to you guys, and I just never got around to
So
it.
he was a director from the beginning.
Oh yeah.
How much did it do?
So it did $40 million. And I'm looking at, and I don't know how much the budget really was, but the budget that Box Office Mojo it's where we're getting our weekend box office info. They're saying it was a $20 million budget, which seems,
It might be $40 million budget, but then he only put 20 million. He put 20 million in his own
and
money.
then it took off $20 million.
Right.
Yeah, either way, it made its. Even if it was $40 million budget, it made its money back the first weekend. And it took.
You're right. To your point, though, he's lost his mojo. I just think his whole point, his movies that were so great in the beginning was the suspense of a twist.
Yes.
And the last couple, even Split was good, but it still didn't have that same feel as like people talking about it. You know what I
Same
mean?
punch.
Yeah, it just didn't have it.
Yeah.
And I like the actor in Split. What's his name?
James McAvoy.
God damn, the dude got beat.
Yeah,
he
he
got
got
beefed
jacked
in
up.
this one for this one too.
Yeah.
But
It's got a killer cast.
it does. I mean, but I just don't think it's there.
Yeah, I mean, I have a feeling that I'm going to land probably somewhere in the middle. It won't be as egregious as a 7 out of 10 for that I gave the movie that shall not be
Be
named.
named. Yep.
But I think I want this movie to be good. I loved Unbreakable, and I'm just like, man, I would love to have this just knock it out of the park because it's a
good premise.
Yeah, no capes and cowl superhero movie,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's intriguing. It's intriguing.
But
to me.
it's like a believable superhero.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even though it's got a lot of.
Like, what would you do? Like,
Yeah,
what would
it's-
you do if yesterday, you woke up and you're like, you're living your everyday life, right? And it just so happens you get put into a situation to where you flex a little bit and something extraordinary happens. Not like laser beams out of your
Yeah,
eyes. Or
exactly.
You're flying
It's
across
a
the
little bit
world.
realistic.
Yeah, it's grounded.
Yeah.
And then to entertain that premise would be really cool. I would love to see that go down with like a I guess they did it with Unbreakable, but to see a falling down type of character, Michael Douglas in Falling
Yeah,
Down.
well, that's why I like the Punisher
have
so
that
much.
guy get
That is one of my-
superpower.
Well, that's why I like the Punisher so much because Punisher's kind of like,
But he's special forces guy, right? But you're right, he's grounded in reality.
yeah,
I just want to touch on one thing you hit. Falling Down, that was Michael Douglas. That was, we were talking earlier about how kids don't appreciate movies.
Yeah.
That was the first time when I realized to start appreciating what good quality movies were.
Yeah.
When I saw that movie, I must have been like 17 or
Damn,
18
it is
years
awesome.
old. It's so good. And I never heard of it. My buddy's like, you got to watch it. You got to watch it. And I'm like, I'll watch it. I never heard of it. It must not have been in the movies long.
Yeah.
Michael Douglas sure should have won an Oscar for that. That was an unbelievable performance of a guy just losing it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And here's
It's
the
amazing.
thing: if there was no falling down, there might not have been a Walter White, dude.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's an
great-
archetype, right?
That's
Yeah.
a great point. And it blew my mind because what we talked about earlier just hits right on the note. I think that was the first time I started to realize what's really good quality movies, just not flash in the pan like the Transformers of Michael Bay that I grew up liking, or
Yeah.
the old Arnold Schwarzenegger
Yeah,
movies, so.
Yeah, you're right. And it's got some depth to it, right?
It does. And you almost feel for the guy,
Mm-hmm.
even though he's going crazy at the same time.
But you
Yeah.
get why he snapped.
Yes,
Totally.
Yeah,
You think about who he was in that movie. He's like the everyday person, right? And then we got the heat coming on. It's
he's
cold.
the everyday person, and everything.
cold as fuck
and
outside. We're
Everything
gonna-
at once, his life just takes a shit on him.
Yeah,
Yeah, but if you think about it, though, he's doing everything right.
He's
according
supposed
him.
to. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
doing everything he's supposed to be doing, and then
Shit just goes wrong.
yeah, without no fault by him.
He's disposed of
Yeah,
because
in his
He's a nu-
job,
he's a-
in
he's
his
a number.
in his life, with his wife. She was cheating. No, she had a divorce or
they had a
something.
divorce.
Like that. It's been a long time since I've seen the movie.
Yeah.
He's just
Makes you want
going-
to watch it again.
Who
right?
else was in that? What the hell's the cop?
Robert Duvall?
Robert Duvall. Another great actor who I learned later to appreciate much more.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fantastic movie. We got on a little bit of a tear there, but that's you want that type of depth. You want that type of to where you remember it 20 years later.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I want for this. Let's call it a franchise. It's 3 movies, right? This franchise. I wanted this Glass movie to be like undeniably awesome. So I'm gonna give it a go.
I think the only problem I have with M. Night doing this is because I think it's all it toys with your emotions in a bad way. A superhero movie to me, yes, I like how it plays on realistic. It's more realistic for everybody, but at some point there has to be a positive note. Even Unbreakable was kind of depressing.
Yeah, he was a little bit of a
Split was
yeah.
really depressing because the guy is just a freaking crazy fuck.
Yeah.
Well, see, in that regard, I like the premise of it. I like how it's a different take on it.
No, I do too.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like whether he did it wrong or did it right.
I think what
Yeah,
you're
I know
saying,
what
Nick,
he's
is that there was no upbeats.
Yeah, you had to have some upbeats. I'm not saying the whole movie has to be upbeats.
Yeah.
Trust me, Empire Strikes Back is my favorite Star
Yeah,
Wars
that's-
movie.
that's
There's a
interesting.
reason for it, but it had some upbeats in the movie to carry the movie through.
It was scruffy looking nerf herder.
Exactly. Some levity of
I'm gonna
some
kiss
sort.
my sister on the mouth right now.
And he has none of that. It's all like dark toned, like superhero,
Yeah.
anti-hero, which is fine, but have a little bit of levity, man.
Yeah.
Just ease it in there.
Even falling down,
There was
had
some levity.
some
yeah.
levity, right? Even like when he goes in and he speaks to you, right?
Yeah.
Like he turns around, and it's like, I
When he raided the Nazis, the guy was
Yeah.
all like up for him. He goes, What did he say to him? Oh man, it's been so long.
But there's so many good parts. Like even when he goes in and he goes in to order some fast food, and it's 10 of 11, and they stop ordering breakfast at 11, and he loses his shit. There's times when you're in a fast food restaurant and someone pulls something nonsense on you, and in your brain you're going, I want to blow this fucking place up. I mean, you'd never do it, obviously, but
yeah.
You know, that's the emotion you might have.
Exactly your point. I just think he was missing it.
Yeah.
You know, if you're going to really do something like that, and I think that's the problem with M. Night. He keeps having the same kind of tone in almost every movie. He doesn't change his tone. If you watch Sixth Sense, it's a dark tone. You watch Signs, a very dark tone. I mean, they're all great movies, but expand your horizon there, buddy. If you're a great director, and I love him because he does most of these movies in Philly, and they're awesome for that reason.
Yep.
But change it up a little bit.
Yeah, I agree, man. I agree. And you can't. And the one trick pony of having a twist at the end is everybody knows the trick now.
Yeah.
And so it's not something that's like, oh my god,
Swing
anymore.
away,
You're
swing
like,
away. And
yeah,
you figure it out at the end.
yeah.
It's like,
You're not like at that place where you're like, you shouldn't go into a movie where there's a twist at the end and you go, wait for the twist, everybody. You know, because you don't want it to be. That's why it's a twist.
And Signs always got me because these aliens come to a planet, right? And they everybody's like scared. They have to run away. But their downfall is water, and you come to a planet that's 65% fucking water. That makes no sense.
There's a little
to me.
bit of a logic.
Yeah,
hole.
it makes no sense to me. Have a fucking suit on or something.
What happens if it rains?
You came from right?
You're fucked.
Yeah, right. Just
I'm gonna fight you with my garden hose.
invade the desert, dude. Shit, come on, man.
Wouldn't that be funny? They come down with ray guns and you just hook up your garden hose and spray them down. Turn your sprinkler on. That's your defense grid.
Stop, dude.
So Glass hit number one at $40 million. And then the upside, Kevin Hart's movie with Bryan Cranston. I'm busting.
This is the
big
second
studs.
week. Yeah, Brian.
Yeah.
Fucker.
Was the upside. We did ask a question last week, which was, I think, Nick, you asked, was it based on a true story? It's kind of, sort of based on a true story. It's based off a book, a French book, that's based on another person's memoirs.
Oh, okay.
So it's, it does the Hollywood delusion,
Oh, yeah.
right? It's based on it. There's probably like a fraction of a
It
percent.
did say based on a true story, but you take that with a grain of salt. 'Cause
Totally.
Not unless it says this is a true story and, written in firsthand accounts.
Yeah, like Spielberg's Saving Private Ryan. When then
Yes.
at the end you see all the people that were the characters that were in that movie.
Yeah. Well, that's why I like, not to get too far off, that's why I like Band of Brothers.
That's what they did it in Band of Brothers.
That's
My
where you're
fault.
going.
Yeah.
Band of Brothers was done. If you're going to give my favorite miniseries of all time, that's probably my
So
favorite.
good.
I don't want to
Another
go
one that I own on Blu-ray.
Yeah, of course
Yeah,
you did.
right. But that you have to admit, though, I don't want to
Fuck, it
get
was
too much
awesome.
on a tangent on that. But that
I
Pacific was okay, but talking about miniseries, man, it was done so well.
Well, you're talking about theaters of war. I mean, obviously, everybody's more taken, even though we lost a shit ton of dudes over in Japan and on those islands, that theater of war, like, everybody's intrigued with, like, the whole Nazi theater of war.
Yeah, oh yeah.
It's always been...
But
you know,
because Japan was more island hopping, and you don't always
Yeah.
stay with the same buddies.
Yeah, and it was like a slaughter. Like,
Yeah,
It was
they
just...
were like losing like tens of
It
thousands.
was
of people.
crazy, because it was like jungle fighting. I mean, it was,
And not to mention the Japanese were suicidal in
Yeah.
how
Oh,
they
yeah.
fought. Where the Germans, if you beat them, they would surrender.
yeah.
Japanese weren't surrendering.
No, they didn't
They'd
give a
fight
fuck.
to the death.
They gave zero fucks.
Yeah.
Kamikaze bitches, man.
Yeah.
That's some crazy shit. There was what was I thinking? Anyway,
Dead air, John.
Dead air. The back to box office is great.
It's a slow week though for box office.
Yeah, well, I mean, so we were moving on to the upside.
I mean, real quick, you got to think of Captain Marvel. Just hasn't even been out yet. It's already doing 170 or something.
Dude, you
Ticket
blew me
sales.
away with that factoid.
I thought I read that. I'm pretty sure it's 160
million
or so-
in pre-sales.
in pre-sales.
Jesus, man.
Because I was going to text you guys, should we get this already?
Yeah, it's looking so.
So I know. So moving on, we went to Upside. Did $15 million at the box office.
What is
Just-
Upside?
The Upside was the one I was just talking about.
Oh,
the Kevin
okay,
Hart
yeah. I
one.
thought it was something else.
And then Aquaman is still in the top 5 with a $10 million box office.
Nice.
It's doing $304 million in domestic, and then of course it broke $1 billion last week.
Well, I think they're deservingly so.
Yeah,
I was impressed.
And one thing, I was listening to Kevin Smith and Mark Bernardin's podcast, and Mark Bernardin had a criticism about the Aquaman.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Kevin Smith had a criticism.
No,
I was like,
his-
that ain't happening.
No, he softballs these things. But Mark Bernardin had this criticism, and when he says it, like that's why I don't listen to their podcast before before we do the same
Because you
review.
don't want to take their review. You don't want to get it in your head.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I just got done listening to it. I know we reviewed Aquaman a while ago. And what he said was kind of interesting, Mark Bernardin, and he's a writer. Like, he writes for films and television. And he said that the thing that was the biggest disappointment with Aquaman is that Aquaman didn't have a journey. He didn't go from being somebody to then at the end having to have this trial to become the person that does the thing at the end of the movie.
Well, they couldn't do that because they already laid the backstory a little bit of it before with the other movies.
Yeah, but his point was that makes for a more entertaining and more
It does,
interesting
and
hero.
that's probably why it fell a little short.
Yeah,
Where like Wonder Woman had a journey,
exactly.
but they couldn't do that with Aquaman because they kind of already with the Justice League. This is why they fucked up when they rushed the Justice League out there. Mm-hmm. They should have just done what they should have done. What Marvel was doing. You did like each character of its own, and you build up to one big movie.
Which, by the way,
Yeah,
they
sure.
said that they were not going to take a page from the Marvel book. That
Oh,
was
really?
that was in an article recently.
Which was stupid
The
because
DC heads?
Yeah, DC head said that they're going to stay on pace of what they're doing and that they will not take a page out of the Marvel.
so they're
book.
going to constantly change their characters up because they're idiots. They're getting rid of
Essentially.
I mean, I know you don't like the Batman they picked, but I refute. I think he's okay, but I just don't like the idea of if you're going to try to do like a multi-universe, you can't keep switching up the characters.
Nah.
It's fucking stupid.
Nah.
It's stupid. Like
It looks
we
dumb.
all like Superman. The Superman's great. He's thinking about leaving.
Yeah, if he's not already gone.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
he
it's
was thinking
because
about doing. What was he going to do?
he's doing some, but he was already in line to do that show. It's like a show on Netflix.
yeah, that's right.
It's like a video game. You
Yeah,
said
I know
it.
what you're talking about. I can't remember what it was.
And he's trying to become the next Bond. It's like his like one of his goals, Henry Cavill's, to be a Bond.
He's got two like spy type films under his belt, so he can do
Frankly,
it.
I think Bond is overrated anymore.
Yeah, I don't think
I-
it's going to do anybody any freight.
And I
favor.
loved Bond, but it's like one of those things, man. How many times you go into that fucking well? I
Yeah.
don't mind going back. Let it sit for 10 years. Let it settle. Then
and
go
the-
back.
And the character itself is not of the times.
No.
You know, especially in this very sensitive environment that we
It's
have.
more like a MI, like Mission Impossible times.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
like,
not Bond. It's MI times.
dude,
pretty
think
much.
about it. Bond is a
Teams.
playboy, man.
Like Mission Impossible, he always has teams that help him. Granted,
Yeah, and
Tom
just
Cruise.
what he dabbles in too. It's
Yeah.
more to the times where Bond is kind of like
Bond is the
it's like an old.
he's the
kinda
Lothario, man.
Yeah.
He like he's like the Captain Kirk of the spy realm. You know what I mean? He like goes in. It's like, all right, well, how do I seduce this person? How I and it's not PC anymore. And do I think that that's the right thing to go? The right way to go to be to put the Bond character and round out his edges? No, keep him alive in the books and literature, but have him someone like Henry Cavill not waste his time with that character. Have him reinvent him.
Yeah, what they should, in my opinion, what they should do is, like I was saying, do more of like a Mission Impossible style, and then you can have like, you can make it like kind of interesting. And people get all like weird about it, but you can have them like have to like seduce men or something too. Like change it up. You know what I mean?
He
'Cause
was
it-
great in
but
Mission
it's
Impossible.
it's
I
the
thought he was
same.
fantastic.
I agree.
Because I know what you're saying. It's like the same formula at this point. You know what I mean? He like seduces a woman, and he gets in bed. The girl tries to kill him.
Yeah.
You know, same shit. Like, do something a little bit different.
Yeah.
He was awesome in what's the other spy movie he did? He was really good in that.
Oh, Daniel Craig.
No. Henry
It was
Cavill.
It was, I want to say the Avengers, but it wasn't.
No,
the
no,
Avengers.
no. It was back in the 70s. It was
Like I know what you're talking about.
It was like based off of a show, and everybody watched it for years.
Yeah, like a Mod Squad
He was
or some
really
shit like
good
that.
in that,
Yeah.
man.
Damn, it's even. Oh, by the way, disclaimer: we work all day. We do the show at night. We're a little older, and we don't know a lot about shit, but we do try our
I've
best.
watched it 100 times. I'm bothered by it. I watched it like 100 times. I can't remember what Henry Cavill that movie was. It's like Uncle.
We'll fact
something.
check
Man
it.
from Uncle.
Man from Uncle. There it is.
See,
Really good.
collective brain power. We got there.
Did you ever watch that? Check it
It's
out,
good.
dude. It's really good. The chick in that is smoking too.
That's a great.
He's
character.
so good. He plays that character. He's like he works for the CIA, but he was actually like not a CIA agent. He was like a super spy. He was like a super thief, right? But like a con man. But CIA caught him, and they used him to his benefit. And they said you got to keep doing these things, else you're going to be, we'll put you in prison. So essentially becomes an agent for the CIA. And then there's another guy that's an agent for Russia. This take place in the 70s.
Army Hammer.
And it's like their best agent. And it's like almost like a little comedic how they interact. Then they have to work together on a project
When they're not killing each other.
when they're not killing each
Trying to
other.
kill
And it's
each
just
other.
like almost like a Tango and Cash, but for the spy agencies.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
It's a good movie. It didn't do great at the box office.
But
it's a
it got
shame.
great reviews though
Yeah.
for both fans and. But it didn't do great at the box office because it was based on a show in the 70s I've never fucking heard of.
Yeah, it's a shitty title.
Yes, I mean you're not going to know it unless
Yeah.
you really know it. It's just check it out, Jamie.
I'll check
Man
it
from Uncle, you'll like it, dude.
Yeah, you might be.
I've been on the bin watching thing.
Pick it up on
lately.
Netflix. So Aquaman came in third. Dragon Ball Super Broly.
I heard
no
that.
fucking
I
idea
heard
what
that.
this
That's
I don't
some
know.
Japanese anime shit.
Oh yeah, it's definitely off of. I'm assuming Dragon Ball Z, but that did $9 million at the box office. And then last, and it's still near and dear to my heart, I saw it for the second time. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. That round up the top 5 in the box office.
Yeah, I
over
wanted
the
to
weekend.
see that. You were talking so much about it.
It's done this animated film, $160 million domestic, and it did $325 million worldwide. That's amazing.
How much was the budget?
90 mil?
That's not bad.
Nah. Usually, what we say one time, almost half of the budget goes to marketing and distribution. But yeah, that rounds off the box office. That movie again. I took the kids to see it. The first time I saw it, I saw it on the slide.
Blew your load.
It was I just like left it all on the and then I took the boys to see it and Cindy to see it. Cindy didn't even know it was an animated movie.
I know, you told me that. I was like, what?
Yeah, and she thoroughly enjoyed it. It's just fun. It's compelling. It's really well done, and I can't talk highly enough about it. I want people to continue to go see that movie because that means they'll make more.
Oh, if they made over $100 million, they're gonna make more.
Yeah, and I think one of the writers that got kicked off of the Solo movie wrote this movie. Lord?
Really?
Yeah, Philip Lord, I think. I'll have to check my notes.
Well, it's not that he's a bad writer or a bad director. It's just he wanted to make Han Solo a joke.
Yeah.
And I already think they went a little too light on what they did do. I don't want to get in a review with that, but you can't make him a joke.
Yeah. No. It didn't. That was the right call for
Yeah.
sure. So that's the box office. There's a little bit. I think we talked a little bit about some of the things that were in the news, but I just wanted to do a some fact check.
Okay.
Got some fact checks.
We got to
haven't
get,
really
but
gone
we
back-
got, we got to get back on the fact checks because they're fun.
So some of this is a mix of fact checks and some things that we just kind of left open ended because we weren't sure of. One of the things that we were talking about and we were pretty passionate about because I listened to the last week's episode is that we were talking about Jamie in the episode we were talking about Gravity, and you automatically triggered over to Bird Box, because we were talking about Sandra Bullock and in Gravity, and you were like, "Fuck that movie! Fuck the end of that movie." Then she names the kids, and I was
Yeah.
like, and as I'm
remember.
listening again, I was like, "Wait a minute, Jamie's pissed off about a different movie. You were pissed off about Bird Box, and we were talking about Gravity."
Well, that's what I thought we were talking about.
No,
we
we started out talking about Bird Box, and I said,
Oh, then I must have zoned out then when you guys were talking about Gravity.
Because I
that
said
movie
I never
fucking-
liked her, and I didn't even like her in Gravity, and that's what I said.
Ah,
And then we were
Gravity's
talking
all
about
right.
Gravity.
Yeah. So and I went and said, "Oh yeah, she was in Birdcage." I was like, no, that was Robin Williams and Nathan Lane. It was about two gay guys in Florida. It was what's the furthest
Yeah,
thing
it
from
lost
Berkeley.
me then.
That's funny.
We were a little bit all over the place. And Christian Bale, he was not in The Big Hurt like what I said, or Too Big to Fail, and you knew that, but he was in what was it?
It was something based off that. I forget what I would call it. It's a good movie.
No, it
good.
was The Big Hurt. I'm sorry.
It was The Big Hurt, but he wasn't
Yeah.
in Too Big to Fail. It's just a
Yeah,
flip flop. I mean, it's
exactly.
based on the same topic, though.
It wasn't anything egregious. I was
No.
just making the correction for all those fans that deluge of emails that I got of people shaking their fists telling you how much we fucked that up.
Yeah.
I think
Your
it was-
one friend, Marcus.
It was Marcus, yeah. It was and then the other thing was Spider-Man: Homecoming. I kept saying it was Spider-Man: Homecoming for the new movie that was coming out. It's really Spider-Man: Far From Home.
Far From Home. That's see, everybody. When I first heard the title months ago,
Yeah.
I was thinking, oh, from how he gets back from the snap,
Yeah.
No, it's how he gets back from London.
Yeah,
or
they're on a school
Paris.
trip. School trip, that's it.
And where
And-
does this take place? Does it in the timeline? I'm like curious. It has to be before the snap, right?
I'm not sure because the trailer dropped too. The Spider-Man, the second trailer had dropped, and
It has to be. He's got the new suit.
he
No, he doesn't. He has a suit Nick Fury gives him. If you
Yes.
watch the trailer, because he doesn't bring the suit, does he?
Yeah.
That new suit's got some weird shit in
it's
it.
got like webbing so he can do some.
But that's Fury's suit. That's not.
squirrel dive and flying squirrel stuff. Yeah, spider squirrel.
No. I don't know. I mean, it's an opinion. If you think it's after, then it's after. It's just a tough call.
I don't know.
Did you guys see all the trailer? The new
Yeah, I
one?
watched both of them.
He's the one who told us to watch the International.
Yes, that's right. Well,
Which you only had like the beginning was different.
Yeah, it's a little different.
it seems like Aunt May knows he's Spider-Man.
Yeah, they kind of went off with that premise there.
Yeah.
Well, she did catch him. Remember? It was at the end of
Yeah,
Homecoming.
she did.
Oh,
He's
that's
right. He's
right.
right. Yep.
Yeah.
That's right. Now I remember. I forgot about that.
They kind of got glossed over the Uncle Ben factor, didn't they?
Yeah. There's
and-
no dead Uncle Ben.
There was an article about that. They're kind of like,
Yeah, like what the fuck does Uncle Ben look like? David Beckham.
yeah,
Like, what the fuck?
that's a good point. That's funny.
Yeah. Well, they hint around. We'll just get into the Spider-Man trailer. The new trailer dropped for Spider-Man: Far From Home. They hint around that there's a little bit of a flirtation with Happy and
Yeah, and he's
and Aunt May.
I mean, it's Peter's like, what's going on here?
Yeah. What just happened?
What just happened? I only have one problem with the whole new Spider-Man. It has nothing to do. It's the his quote unquote girlfriend. The hell is her name?
Zendaya. She's Mary Jane.
Mary Jane. Mary Jane was a redhead.
Yes. Well, and Flash was a blonde-haired white dude.
I don't know.
And
I
he's
just-
an Indian guy in this
I just
one.
wanted Mary Jane as a redhead. I thought that was the best.
Well,
one.
it's who you fell in love with when you met these characters,
Yes,
right?
that's
And that's
just-
the person that's the formative person that's in your brain of what your expectation is. But Aquaman was a blonde-haired gay guy. No, he wasn't gay. I'm just kidding.
Dude, that's horrible. Why would you say that?
I know it's terrible.
Our gay fans out there can be really upset with you, John.
the thousands of fans that are out there. No, but they changed the premise of what our expectation was for Aquaman.
Yeah, no,
and it worked out fine.
I hear it. And it's a minor thing. I love this Spider-Man. This is I was telling somebody the other day, he's the best Spider-Man out of all of them.
Yeah, when you would think Tobey Maguire was probably the best one prior to that.
He was, but this kid, it just maybe it's the Marvel universe and how he synced in with all the
he's killing it.
Avengers. He gets it.
Yeah.
Man. It's just you think of Spider-Man, and that's what I think.
What'd you guys think of Mysterio coming in?
It's brief, but I like it. You don't know if he's bad or good in this movie. I know in the comics he's usually bad, but there are times when he helps out Spider-Man, right?
I'm not sure. I've never seen him in an episode where he's actually been helpful to Spider-Man, but there's been a lot of Spider-Man issues.
You have to be a point where Mysterio was good and goes bad, right?
Yeah.
Because he uses magic, right?
Well, he's like a stunt. I think his history goes back where he was a stuntman and maybe an illusionist. I think it was a stuntman, and in Hollywood. But no, he's a special effects guy, and that's how. And I think somehow he fell on hard times and he started falling off.
It looks like he's like shooting like rays out of his arms.
It
though.
looked a little bit like
magic from Doctor Strange.
Yes.
That's what I mean. Is there going to be some kind of linkage there to make it more believable than a special effects guy could do all this?
Yeah, that's pretty lame.
It's pretty lame nowadays,
Yeah.
considering you got Iron Man, who he's a billionaire and he can barely do the stuff he does.
Yeah. Did you ever see some of the suits, the Iron Man suits, some of the cosplayers build? Dude, crazy sophisticated. Like,
They use that 3D printer.
they use 3D printers. They
Did they
use
really?
all kinds of stuff. They get it to where like things are actually mechanical, to where they move and have lighting effects and all kinds.
They were
of stuff.
making kids' arms and shit that they didn't have arms. You saw that?
Yes, that was amazing.
And it was pretty cool. They would make them like an Iron Man arm.
Oh, that's awesome!
Yeah.
What a cool
from like
story.
a 3D printer and shit. Matter of fact, that's the one that Robert Downey Jr. dropped off to the kid. Like,
Did he really?
Personally, yeah.
What a good guy, man. But I mean, we say this.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. He
Could be a PR stunt.
went from shitting in Kelly LeBrock's trailer to fucking dropping off arms to kids that don't have limbs.
Well, back on the 3D printing thing, it is the wave of the future. I don't want to go too much in this because I know we don't talk about.
I like how they picked up on that in Lost in Space. That was pretty.
That
awesome.
was awesome.
Yeah.
But like, dude, I think we talked about this a couple years ago. Like they're going to be able to 3D print like organs and shit in the next 10, 20 years. So
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
it's going to be like all that stuff.
Speaking of Lost in
That's amazing.
Space, real quick, I do like that about Lost in Space. How they
They incorporated like
the premise of that we could get this far with what we got now, but we needed that extra alien factor to get to the other planet, and it's believable.
yes, it is believable.
I liked how they did that.
Yeah.
and they tied it in with
They tied it in well.
with our technology now, and
Yeah.
they just expanded on it, like the
Yeah.
3D print and the gun, and they added Hawking radiation into it when he just discovered
was
it like
nice.
the last year and a half.
Yeah.
They added a little tidbit in there, but you don't want to get too much into
Yeah.
it. But you said you didn't like Lost in Space.
It's too drawn the fuck out. They could have trimmed it
Shorten
down.
it up a little bit.
After watching Peaky Blinders and how they do that 8-episode thing, I think
Jack Ryan did that. That's why. I loved it.
and Jack Ryan's another prime example. And it's probably not true for all, but I mean, we can get. Do you want to start getting into the Netflix stuff or no?
Sure. I just want to say we were talking about Robert Downey Jr. and I was just watching HBO, and I meant to bring this up to you guys. What a career change in the past 10, 15 years. There was the Shaggy Dog starring Tim Allen, to where Robert Downey Jr. played this wacky doctor character that was a second to Tim Allen in a fucking talking dog
It's
movie.
amazing how one role changes everything for anybody.
Yeah.
You look at Jennifer Gardner.
Yeah. With Alias.
Alias. Who was an Alias? That's bigger
Oh,
than
Bradley
she is.
Cooper, yeah.
Bigger than she is now.
But they're all people who rose to the occasion as well.
They did.
Talent. Talent is
Yeah, I
what
mean,
talent is.
Talent and
For sure.
opportunity.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Agreed.
Combination.
So that was. I don't even know how we got on this tear. I know we were talking about.
How do we ever get on any tear, dude? Seriously, just goes.
The only there's the other things that I was talking about as far as fact checks, real quick. That's where we were going. We were talking about The Last Kingdom and how we're all in love with this series. You guys finished the series. I'm still involved with a second season. I'm on the second episode, second season. Uhtred, we talked about, was Uhtred a real person? According to some of the articles I saw on Uhtred is the main character. He is a Saxon, born English, but gets raised by Danes, and he is Uhtred and
Son of Uhtred.
yeah,
Uhtred, son of Uhtred. Just
Fucking
sounds
hilarious.
funny.
Sounds like something out of the Holy Grail.
Yeah, right?
yes. But he's not a real character. He's pure fiction. But we also made a comment too, which was like, yeah, well, even if it was somebody that was based on, it would never made it to the record books.
Yeah,
Well,
'cause
it's,
the kings who
you know
went
what's
to the-
funny? I'm
Yeah.
watching a series that I told you guys about. I'm watching about Queen Victoria and all that. It's on BBC, but it's good. And it's funny that you say that because there's like one of these her servants does her hair, her makeup. She has a good relationship with her, and the one person goes, "Why do you do this all the time when you probably could do something better?" And she goes, "Because I feel like I can be a part of history because I'm helping her."
Oh yeah,
So it's always those little nuances like Julius Caesar, who was his everyday guy,
Yeah.
who might have influenced him, but we'll never know about this guy. but influenced him to go in a direction that instead of walking down this street, he went down that street. Instead of taking that
Sure.
plan for a battle, he went over there. You'll never know about these people.
Who was the support system? The
Right.
consiglieres.
I mean,
the-
so there could be an
Yeah.
Uhtred type involved in the English
Yeah,
backstory.
Uhtred used some of Caesar's war tactics.
He
in that.
did.
Yeah, well, that was one of the things that they played up in Braveheart.
Yeah.
That he traveled and he learned like the art of war.
Yeah.
Yeah, which
We'll build sticks as long as
What
men.
was-
Some are longer than others.
I told you I watched that too. The on Netflix. It's like after Braveheart. It's called like the
Oh,
first.
the Chris Pine one.
yeah,
It's
First
good.
King or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah,
It's not bad.
It's really good.
Yeah, like
Love Chris Pine, man. This dude is everywhere, man.
it's good.
He was in Spider-Verse. He was one of the Peter Parkers.
Cool.
Was he really?
Yeah.
Now he's coming out with that show in the night or something like that on
Yeah,
TNT.
he's busy for sure.
Dude, he's all over the place.
Uh-huh.
And I haven't seen him at all on social media too, so he's busy working, not
He-
marketing
he-
himself.
He could care less about the Star Trek thing. He's
I
like,
think
do
it's-
it, don't
I think
do
that's
it.
your-
I don't care.
I gotta
man.
work, man.
I think
Yeah.
that's your best bet to stay off that fucking shit. If I was in that kind of limelight, I think
Stay off
just
social
stay
media.
the fuck off it. Why do you even need it?
But it's really
No.
the way that things are marketed, though.
I don't
mean,
think you need it. I think
Once you become famous,
I think
you don't
the proof,
need it anymore.
yeah, I think the proof is in the pudding, dude. If you're that good, people are still going to see it.
You don't need to be a Trump or Kim Kardashian
Yeah, you're not
to make
selling
your
lipstick.
career. Yeah, right.
Fuck it.
If you're already a mainstream A-list actor, what the fuck is your point about being on social? You're not marketing yourself. Your movies do that for you, and you have you hire marketing managers
Yeah, but that's the thing. That's the trick about social media. Social media is
or
always
let them
affected.
do your social media for you.
That's the problem. You lose authenticity, and then you lose this. What they see is what is perceived as a genuine connection to people.
But I think if you're good, I think it trumps that.
yeah, but
I like Chris Pine. I would go see every movie he makes. I like him.
I agree, and he is a talented motherfucker. And I'm not saying that The Rock isn't talented or Chris Hart, but if you look at how active they are on social media, it is ridiculous.
Well, Rock's going to be president someday.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm trying to think of one off the top of my head that stays off. Like Stern, he's not on social media. He
No.
barely ever goes on social media, and he has like a following. Like I think like
Bill Murray.
Bill Murray's another one. It's like talent.
Yeah.
Like if you're that good, I don't think you fucking need it.
Yeah, and some people it takes. Well, I look at it this way: if you look at the highest paid actors, just actors, right? You got George Clooney, but he sold it to Kill Company. Then you got
The
The Rock, and
But-
then you got Kevin Hart, and then you got.
But you got people.
Robert-
I just
No,
want
go ahead.
to Jamie's point.
They're all on social media.
No, to Jamie's point though is I think Chris Hart, The Rock are one trick ponies in their movies, so they have
They're the
to
same
be
people.
So they have to be.
Yeah.
Like you got Chris Pine, who's diverse. He can play any kind. He's been in comedies.
Yeah,
and
that's a
been-
good point.
He's a very good actor.
He's an actor's actor.
He's an actor's actor. Doesn't need as much.
Yeah.
Chris Pine and not Chris Pine. The Rock and them do. They need to keep that role, that interest in them, who they are. They built this persona of who they are. The Rock is The Rock.
Yeah.
He's built this persona. This is who I am. He doesn't act different in hardly any of his movies.
But
Yeah.
I'll be
He's
honest.
I
Chris
agree.
Hart.
I'll be honest with
agree.
you though. I don't even think. I think if Rock and Kevin Hart stayed off of social media,
Kevin Hart, not
I think
Chris
they, Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
I think they'd
No, I
be
was
doing
saying
just
wrong.
fine without it. Honestly, I would.
I think it helps their career.
I think it
because
helps, but I don't think it helps
they
as
need
much
to
as
be
you
in-
think it is. I think that they would be just fine
Well,
where they're at.
I think it hurt. I think the problem with them is they can't expand and be in different movies and expand their portfolio to get different people to like them. So they have to be out there and active.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Like Chris Pine, like I just keep bringing up, he's been in comedies, he's been in Star Trek, he's been in Wonder Woman, he's been in dramas. People are liking him on all different genres.
well,
Yeah.
I mean,
He's solid.
like in Rock's defense, like that show on HBO.
Ballers.
Ballers. Like he plays a serious role in that. And he's fucking damn good.
He's serious,
he's
but he
really
still
good.
plays the same kind of persona.
I think he's.
He's not. It's not a stretch. Like
don't-
he's not. He's. You can't look at him and not expect to get what he's been delivering.
Yeah.
Right. Unfortunately, he's not going to go into He's not going to go into Game of Thrones and not be anybody but someone fighting the mountain.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's not going to be. And that's his personality. That's
But
his
he took that-
his
Which that would be an
physical
awesome
persona.
fight, by the way.
Yeah, that would be
But
wild.
he took on that like businessman role, and I thought that was pretty good. Like,
No, I'm not saying that he's not.
but like
talented.
Kevin, no, I see what you're saying. Like as in Kevin Hart, he always plays like the goofy
Yeah.
comic relief guy, and I could never see him playing a serious role.
I
Which
just
agree.
Which
Like-
makes this upside interesting, right? Because there's got to be some serious notes to it.
Yeah,
I guess. I don't know.
you have noticed throughout the history, comedians do make really better actors than serious actors. Look at Tom Hanks.
It's harder.
Yeah, it's because you have to do improv with being a comedian. If you have to be improv and do all kinds of different voices and different acts, it's easier to transition into different roles than
Yeah.
to say somebody, not unless you're Meryl Streep, who's just fucking ungodly.
Yeah.
It's hard for actors to transition into all kinds of different roles. That's why actors get typecast.
True.
Comedians
True.
never get typecast. If you're a really good comedian like Tom Hanks and them,
They
can
got to
jump
prove
over.
themselves, though.
But once they prove themselves to be great actors, who was another comedian that proved
Oh,
himself to
Robin
be
Williams.
Robin Williams? I mean, he was either comedic but he could pull off a drama.
Oh, yeah.
Ever since he took a chance on a movie that everybody
For Goodwill
Goodwill
Hunting.
Hunting.
Yeah.
but
and then ever since he did that, you got Oh Captain, My Captain, and maybe that was
It's just
before. That was
talent.
probably before that.
I think that it would ruin somebody's career more so to be on social media than it would do because you have more chances
of fucking up.
fucking up, and it doesn't
good
take.
point.
And these days, it don't take shit. You could
Yeah.
pronounce Martin Luther King wrong by accident and be deemed an asshole for the rest of your fucking career.
Yeah.
Well, see, the thing is, just don't stay away from the topics that are.
I would,
serious to
yeah,
anybody.
but that's what I'm saying. Like, you can go as far as like jumble your words by accident, and somebody could pull something out of there, and you're deemed a racist.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. I would, if it was me, and I would just stay the fuck off it.
What do you think about those kids, the MAGA kids, interrupting the Native American?
I didn't read too much.
I didn't
on
really
that.
read into. I heard like two different sides to it. I heard like they didn't instigate it, and then I heard that he did instigate it. So I mean, it's a matter of I wasn't there. So
Yeah, and I have no idea what's going on.
I have no
I saw an
idea.
article. I didn't read into it because, frankly, I don't care.
Again, all it is just more separation,
I
It is.
got
and
a
that's
story for you.
that's the only thing I see out of
I
it.
was telling him about it. Let me ask you a question, Jamie. What's the craziest thing you ever did? Just like jumping all over something. What's the craziest adventure you ever did?
I don't know.
Are you pretty crazy? Are you a pretty crazy person?
Not really.
Because this lady, this woman, videoed this, free scuba dived with a great white shark.
The big one, that really
Yeah.
big one, yeah.
Fuck no, man.
Nah.
Yeah,
Fuck no, dude.
That's just being dumb, though.
Yeah.
That's rolling the dice. That's like the guy that hung out with the fucking bears.
Yeah.
and then he got
I didn't
fucking
e-
mauled to death.
Did he
All that-
really?
They found him in his shit.
Yeah,
In the bear's shit.
They
That
found-
bear ate his ass.
yeah, and it's like, listen,
He was like, "They're my spirit animal."
you
No,
play,
they're not. You're
Yeah.
you
food,
play
dummy.
stupid games, you
Your
win.
bio.
You play stupid games, you win stupid prizes.
Yeah.
I mean, it was cool, but
It's
dude,
cool,
no.
but like I said, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes.
I mean, it's one thing to be in a fucking cage, and I still wouldn't even do that.
fuck that.
To go free diving? Fuck.
No, it's just you're out of your mind, man. It's like, Joe Joe Rogan does this thing where he talks about like animals, and he hunts, so he totally has respect for animals, and that they're fucking wild, man.
Yeah, they are. That's
they're
exactly
wild
right.
animals. Siegfried and Roy. That dude, they were taming tigers for years, and just one day that tiger decided to go wow and grabbed a hold of this guy's
that
neck.
21-year-old trainer at one of the zoos died a couple months ago.
Yeah, dude, they're so powerful, so freakishly powerful, and they're wild. They will kill your ass.
fuck yeah.
Doesn't matter how much you've tamed them. You can get them just. It's King Kong. Too many flash bulbs, and King Kong breaks loose of his chains.
Even regular pets can lose their shit and attack their own.
Yes.
There was that one, it was like a chimpanzee or something like that the lady kept as a pet, and it bashed her skull in like one day.
Why would you
And
keep
he
a
had her,
chimpanzee?
if I remember, you're going to have to fact check me, but she had him for like a long period of time. I think it was
Yeah.
like 10 or 20 years or something like that. And then one day,
And they go for the fleshy parts too,
Yeah,
man.
some part, it
like
just-
your eyeballs or your cheeks.
Yeah. Well,
they're not
it's like, you
stupid.
know how like, oh, if I got into a fight, I'm gonna ball up my fist, I'm gonna punch this person. These people are like, oh, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna fish hook their cheek and I'm gonna pull it off of their face. And you're like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
They're smarter than us. They don't care about.
Well, it's
there's-
instinct.
Yeah,
There's
or they
no-
go for the genitals, dude.
There's
They
no
run on
ego.
instinct.
There's no
Yeah.
ego involved where I think I gotta beat this guy physically to a pulp. Where it's just I'm gonna fucking win and eat.
Yeah, I'm gonna scratch and claw, and I'm gonna bite, and I'm gonna do whatever I can. Do you ever
Yeah.
just get in that and like if you're holding a cat and the cat's like holding it the wrong way, and that thing wants to get away from you,
They do
Yeah.
that.
and they do that thing where they just freak the fuck
Yeah.
out. You're like,
Yeah.
can you imagine that thing's 800 pounds?
Well, that's what I mean. Like that guy may
It's
know.
like the ape that the kid fell in the pit. Was it 2-3 years ago in like one of those?
oh, he's just dragging them
Yeah.
around.
dragging him around. I was
just
like,
happened with a
holy-
rhinoceros too.
Holy
recently.
fuck, dude! Oh yeah. Well, didn't that girl die or something like that?
I think so, but
They were like floating by a rhinoceroses. And I'm like, I know they're not violent animals, but why would you float by a 2-ton animal?
And that's my
why
point.
would you even want to be there?
even if
Fuck!
you're an expert, that guy was an expert with bears. But I know enough about bears to stay the fuck away from them. It's that simple, dude.
Dude, they have a claw like 8 inches off their paw. And they have the power of a dump truck behind it.
Yeah, fuck
What's it going to do to your body?
Yeah, fuck
it's going to just disembowel you with
That's
one
just
swoop.
that's just being dumb.
But the people in the like even things that aren't crazy dangerous. Like I saw this thing like sharks. I saw this thing where this guy had this massive grouper. All right, grouper's a big fish, and it grabbed a hold of his thumb or something like that, and just started to go down.
Yeah.
And he had a snorkel.
Yeah, tarpon are known to like knock you off boats and shit.
But it wasn't going to bite him. It wasn't going to eat him. It was going to drown him.
It's like Steve Irwin. Is it Steve Irwin? Is his name?
Yeah,
Yeah, you got
It's like he's dude.
by a
we-
stingray.
Stingray. I mean,
a
they're
spike to the heart.
exactly is all the things that guy did. He went up to alligators, put his hands in that fucking stingray, man.
Yeah, no way.
That's
This
what
is
I'm saying.
dumb. It's
Fuck.
common sense. It's the Darwin Awards, is what it is.
And it's like what happened in Disney a couple years ago. It's so sad about like
Oh,
that
that
little
little kid.
kid. I mean, but there were signs up everywhere saying there's possible alligators in this water.
Get out of here, Mark.
Go in the water, you're on risk.
Watch your fucking kids.
yeah.
It's that simple, dude.
And don't do it
You're-
at night. He
it
was at
doesn't- it
night,
doesn't
right?
even matter.
What? No, I don't think it was at
I thought it
night.
was.
It was. It was.
it really?
It was around dinner time, if I remember correctly.
there's more ways than one.
We're gonna have to fact check that, but
Jesus Christ, that's
horrible.
horrifying.
But it's
The
like-
dad jumped in, but he just didn't
common
get it out
sense,
of-
though. Common sense.
I
You're
don't
in
get
fucking
that.
Florida by a body of water.
yeah.
And if
in
it's not
Florida.
and if it's not a pool,
Yeah. Then even
Don't
a
go
pool.
in.
Yeah, even a pool. Like, look first, motherfucker.
Well,
You have
there's
to.
a reason why most people in Florida have screened-in pools.
Yeah.
Because the snakes and stuff will come, and alligators will come and go in your fucking pool.
Yeah.
My Shannon's dad lives down there, and I asked that question. I said, "Why the fuck do you have this screened in?" He goes, "This is mosquitoes." He goes, "No, man. Anything will come creeping and crawling. You have to have it screened in."
Yeah. And then it's like you lose. I remember my sister lived in Port St. Lucie in Florida. It's on the Gulf side, about halfway down, and she had a dog, and they had a creek right in the backyard. It was like a little tributary that was in the backyard, and she had to make sure she was all over that dog because they pulled an alligator out of there. It wasn't a big alligator, but it was big enough to take
fuck
down
you
a
up.
30-pound dog. You know. That's a gnarly way to go, too, man. Can you imagine? They like drag you and then death roll you and
Fuck
then
yeah.
stuff you under a log. I watch
Yeah,
Crocodile
they
Dundee.
just that's a knife.
Their skin's real fucking tough too, because I think.
Well, they make like boots out of that shit.
Well, the
Yeah.
skin's like real tough, so it probably takes like a high-powered rifle to take them down.
Well, and their eyeballs roll back and they cover them, so it's like, what's your defense against them? You know?
You're fucked.
Yeah, just right.
And I think they can swim like up to 20 miles per hour or something underwater. They're pretty fast.
You're out of your element, man. But can you imagine that though? If you're something's, you lived your whole life, you walk the path, someone snatches you up and eats you. Your legacy is that you fed something that then turned you into shit.
Yeah, fuck.
You know what I mean?
Essentially, yes.
I'd rather be the eater, not the eater.
Yeah, hell yeah. I've had alligator. It's good. Yeah, they have it at the place, High Street Cafe.
Get some gator tonight.
The only other thing I have is Christian Bale, we just mentioned, he was in Empire of the Sun when we were talking about Spielberg last episode. He was only 13 when he started.
What
that.
did I
No
say?
shit.
No, it wasn't a fun fact. It's more just a open-ended question we had.
that's
Dude,
cool.
he was young, man.
Yeah.
It's a good movie. It's a weird period piece, like how they did it. It's all about the Japanese concentration camps or whatever they did to those people.
Yep.
But it was interesting. I haven't seen it in years though.
And the last thing I had as far as fun facts, James L. Jones. That dude's 88.
Oh,
Yeah, because we were wondering how old he was.
Yeah.
He looks good for 88 then.
Yeah, he hasn't changed much. There's some actors, man, that just stay in age for a long period of
Because he
time.
was just in Big Bang Theory like 4 years ago.
Oh, that was a great episode.
That was a great where Sheldon just goes around with him. It's just
And they're like in a steam bath and shit like that.
yeah, it's funny.
Anything else, gentlemen? That's all I have for this week.
Well, talking about Punisher.
Fuck, man. I can't believe I just
I mean, dude,
totally
there's a
you were
lot.
gonna-
stumbled
you were
all
gonna
over
end
my-
it,
Yeah,
right?
I got a lot of Netflix
Jesus
shit,
Christ.
dude.
I did a quick look
Well, here,
at the
yo, before-
timer, and we're on an hour.
right.
And I'm
Well,
trying to be sensitive.
before
and I was like,
before
holy
we got
shit,
all right,
could
before we
rattle
get to
it on.
that, they're releasing Resident Evil 2 on PlayStation 4 and Xbox.
Yes.
And that game was fucking sick. Back in the day, I think it was 98 that game was released.
Yeah.
Was the fucking shiznit.
They redid it.
They
Dude, that
redid
game was
it. I don't
awesome,
know.
man.
Apparently it's like a reboot of it. I don't know. We'll see. That was my favorite one, Resident Evil 2.
That was the one you come in,
You'd have to raise your arm first before you could shoot and
Yeah.
stuff. It was cool.
but you crash. The best was when you got a Colt Python.
Yeah.
And you one shot the head and just missed it their heads.
Yeah, and you're fucked.
Yeah.
So what about the Netflix shit?
All right, Punisher. Let's do
Punisher.
that. Let's go.
I want
over
to
that.
hear because
Let's go over
I
that
haven't
first.
watched it.
You wanna go first, John?
Usually I'm the one that watches these things, but not
You want to
this
go
time.
first?
Yeah, I'll go first. So, Punisher, and I was taking notes as I was watching this thing, and I'm very lukewarm about this whole series. The things that was bugging me really was it was kind of all over the place. It really didn't feel like it was grounded in any one person's story, especially Frank Castle.
Oh.
Like, who are we focusing on? And it's like, yeah, of course, Frank Castle's the Punisher, and they start out with him sort of on the run, and apparently everything he did in New York all got washed away by his now Homeland Security friends.
Well, they
friend.
kind of talked about it at the end of season 1 about how they were going to pretty much let him go.
Oh, really?
Which-
They're going to give him a pass?
It's just a bunch of bullshit, man.
Well, I don't know. Like, my take on it was first off, 13 episodes is way too much.
Yes.
Second thing is how they did Jigsaw was fucking stupid. That was ridiculous. Didn't even really need his character. I mean, I could have been without him. I do like the premise of the whole radical religious.
So we're going to spoil some shit.
Yeah, okay. The radical religious factor.
So who's the bad people?
That's a
Bad
good question.
Yeah, there's two. It's pretty much two different stories. He's fighting on two different fronts.
Yes.
So he's fighting Jigsaw on one front, and then he's fighting this religious.
cult?
It's essentially like they're involved with the government.
It's a little heavy-handed.
Yeah, it's
with
heavy-handed. My problem is
The reason, real quick though, the reason I say that part's heavy-handed is because they introduce a religious influence into how they're going to invest in these holy rollers' son. This holy roller is basically propping up their son, who's a senator, to become president, so they can have influence. And the way they're cruising in on the holy roller Christian ticket,
Yeah.
right? And but they're also in league with these Russians, and now they're saying, and they kind of big ham-fistedly are trying to do a social commentary of what's going on today.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
it's fucked up. They're just not.
It's lazy. It was
Yes.
straight up.
Good point.
The whole fucking story, like whoever wrote that was straight up lazy.
Yeah.
It was not well thought out. It seemed thrown together and hey, let's put something out real quick.
Yeah, and that might have been where the writers got where they suffered, where the story suffered and the writing suffered, is where maybe time, money, production, all
Yeah.
that stuff chopped it up so much that it was mincemeat.
And it was like a good premise and it was fucked up because my problem is the difference between season 1 and season 2 was drastic. It was
season 1. I didn't watch season 2. Season 1 was phenomenal.
it was
loved it.
phenomenal, and then compared to season 2, it's like, man, what a downgrade.
Yeah, and
That was
the
a
bar is
huge-
high now.
Yeah, it was a huge downgrade, and I understand if it went down a little bit, but it went down like pretty bad.
Yeah.
It was just
Well, was the acting bad?
no, it was just this.
It wasn't great.
It was. I wouldn't blame any of the acting. I blame the story.
Yeah,
It's fucking terrible. The story was bad.
and again, I think production, all that stuff. We heard the rumors that it was rushed, and that could have, of course, impacted the writing and impacted the acting.
Yeah.
You get one take to get it right. Okay, cut, move on. If there's a rush in production,
So you think they rushed the production because they were Netflix had to get, but they're still doing Jessica Jones.
I think they're probably obligated to certain stories that they've invested in so far. Like you're like, all right.
Contractually or
Well,
something?
I think maybe it's like, all right, we've invested this much. Let's just pull the trigger on
Right.
it rather than lose that money.
Yeah, and like I said, I was pissed because I stopped Narcos to fucking bang this out real quick, and I was pissed because like I was already vested. I was like, well, I'm gonna fucking.
I'm
finish
glad.
it.
I was going to start watching it
Because
yesterday.
I was like, I'm gonna just,
Yeah.
I'm already vested. I might as well just finish it out. So that's what I did. I finished it out, and I'm like, oh yeah, finally I'm done. So now I can go back to Narcos.
yeah, I was glad. I was about to start it yesterday because I just couldn't find the time.
I wouldn't waste your time.
And
Yeah.
and you guys were texting me, and I was reading your text. I was like,
It's a
"Fuck
shame.
this! I'll wait till I talk to you tomorrow."
Season 1 was fucking.
I'm
awesome.
not wasting 13 hours. No,
Yeah.
Season 1 rivaled Daredevil.
It
It was
did.
Great.
fucking awesome.
It was awesome.
Yeah, I agree.
But back to my point earlier, I think Daredevil's the only one that was, if you really want to get down to the nitty gritty, is the only one really worth keeping. If Marvel's going to take over, move on.
Yeah, it
Well,
all
aside
depends
from
if they
this
got.
season.
It all depends if they kept getting better.
They
If
did, though.
If they kept, no, I'm talking about all of them.
No,
If they
did.
all kept getting better, sometimes it's like you get pilot syndrome.
The
right?
only one that got better outside Daredevil was Iron Fist in the second season.
True, and that was because it was such a turd in the first season.
I liked it. I actually didn't mind
I
it.
liked the first season.
Yeah, but you had to watch it twice. To John's defense, you're right. I had to watch it twice to enjoy it.
So some of the notes that I took down for the Punisher. Again, the premise, it starts out in a really very fluky way. Frank Castle's on the run. He's in Michigan. He stops at this little roadside
How's he
bar.
in the run when you?
Well, he's
told-
not in a run. He's just kind of
trying to-
haplessly traveling.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, all right. Because you just told me that he got he
You're
was
right. He's
redeemed.
Not, he is, but he's under an alias. He's kind of got his whole thing. His whole history is all the crimes
He's
that he did
assumed dead.
expunged.
Frank Castle's assumed dead.
Yes, he's disappeared.
Okay,
That's
gotcha.
another thing.
It was
The
hokey.
lax in legal and law enforcement in this series
Yeah,
is ridiculous.
well, it's just hokey.
it's like, dude, you just committed mass homicide.
Especially with
You killed-
Russo, especially with
Yeah.
Jigsaw. It was like the dude could he's like a mad wanted guy. He
Yeah.
breaks out and it's like he's just straight up walking down the street with a fucking Uzi.
Yeah, it's
Like, it's
very
nothing.
silly.
Yeah, it's like, and he's like blasting people. I'm like,
But even Frank Castle too, right? So he's supposed to be on the run. Not on the run. I'm sorry. He's supposed to be in like almost a hiding, like a witness protection almost. He gets back into the shit, of course. He starts busting people up, shooting people, and everything like that. Maybe getting a couple of sirens in the background.
yeah, but at least
that's about it.
My
No-
point though with him though is at least he was like kind of hiding out because he was in her apartment for a while. Then he was in that trailer.
Yeah.
And when he would go out, he would at least put his fucking hood up. That Russo dude was just walking around with like fucking Uzis attached to him.
scarred up face,
Yeah.
his face all over the
Yeah,
television.
he looks fucked up and he's just
Yeah.
like walking down the street like it's nothing.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. There is no. I do like when a villain is a little bit on the complicated side and has some depth.
I like the girl in that, the young girl.
She was pretty good.
She was pretty good in it. I liked her take.
But I
it.
still didn't really fully get her story.
No, because that's the writers. That was like shitty writing.
Yeah.
It was very hokey.
Yeah, there was a lot of hokey.
And by the time you got some of the backstory, it was like too late. Like you didn't like. I was at the point where I finally got some of the backstory, and I was like, I don't give a fuck now.
Yeah.
We're almost over. Just fucking get this thing over with.
And
I just want to end it.
yeah, I want to go back to Narcos.
yeah, and Frank Castle was even really one dimensional. And the other thing is that like there was a lot of things that he did that wasn't very Punisher. You know, the Punisher
Well,
was precise. He was a machine.
Yeah.
He was a killer.
Okay.
Right? Like he froze one time.
But I kind of got that. I saw where they were going with that. They were going with like he's starting to realize that there's more to like his whole family thing is like kind of behind him, and I think that's what they were going for. Like he's kind of realizing like. Is there something else?
See, did it go,
like, does he have feelings?
Yeah.
Because that was my.
See,
take
did
on
it go
that.
like this? See, this is how I would have envisioned it, and I didn't see it, so I'm going to just split it out. I thought it would have went like something like this. Frank gets his life somewhat back after the first one. He tries to build a life. It's like a false identity for him. He goes through like maybe 6 or 7 episodes just trying to be like, I'm not that guy. I'm not a
even.
killer. I'm not a killer. And then finally he just breaks out. Says, "Fuck it, this is who I am."
One episode of that?
Yeah.
You know, and just
exactly.
be the Punisher. To
Yeah.
your point, be the guy the comics has trained you.
No,
guys
they
to
did
know.
that in one episode, and then he did 12 episodes of hiding.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Well, here's the other thing, too.
Again, too long.
These guys have mutant
Yeah.
healing powers, too, because they get beat to shit.
Oh, yeah, they're fucked.
I think Frank got shot 3 times.
When he
They-
got beat to shit in that, when they knew he was
In the
coming,
warehouse,
and they
yeah.
fucked him up. He was like
Yeah.
dead.
Yeah, and then like he snaps right back.
Yeah, he's got a second
much
gear.
so-
He kicked
yeah.
in the second gear, dude.
You didn't hear about that SEAL Team 6 healing thing they got going on there?
That stuff was a little on the ridiculous side. They introduced Karen Page, and
Why?
in the
You
11th
said
episode, exactly, like it didn't like what it. She shows up and you're like,
Yeah, she
you
gave
know-
up her shoes.
Yeah, you're almost like, what the fuck are you
She
doing?
gave up
here?
her shoes for some information, and she was out.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I thought the character in the morgue was more interesting than most of the characters
Yeah.
that they played out in that whole in the whole run.
I'm gonna say, and I'm vastly disappointed.
Yeah.
The first season was awesome, one of the best.
Yeah,
This one is a dud.
yeah. The
Yeah.
villain was.
So don't
was
watch
interesting.
this.
I wouldn't waste your time. It's up
Yeah,
to you.
It's too long, dude.
It is.
If
They
it was,
needed a Jack Ryan or Peaky Blinders. That shit.
Yeah, dude.
shrink it down.
I agree. If they did 8 episodes, Nick, I would say, all right. If there's nothing else for you to watch,
Yeah.
give it a go.
Fuck yeah.
I'm not
13.
saying it's totally shit. I'm not even saying it's shit.
So just
I'm
start
just
from
saying,
episode 4.
yeah. Start go.
Right now, no, it's 13 episodes, right?
Do
Yeah, 13.
do
Yeah, so-
all the evens.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
Yeah, you'll be totally fine.
Or all the odds.
And,
Yeah. Do all the odds. You'll be fine.
and like I said, I've been watching Narcos, and that's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Narcos, you're on season 3, right?
I'm on season 3.
How
so
many seasons are there?
there's 3 of this one, and then there's the Mexican Narcos.
Okay.
So
Is it offshoot?
I don't know. I haven't seen it, so I can't say anything about the I'll let you know. I'll have it watched by next week.
All right.
But
I might try to start.
I'll tell you what,
Watch this week.
it's pretty awesome.
Wait, real quick. I want to go back to
Punisher?
Punisher. About some of the silliness. The NYPD cop Mahoney,
Oh, yeah.
like
He should have died,
he
right?
should have died. He's so stupid. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
He's the cop that's like freeze. No, I'm not putting up with this anymore.
But I'm not going to shoot you.
But I'm not going to shoot you. I'm not going to arrest you.
Yeah.
And then when it's all said and done,
I don't believe you're good, but I do think you're good.
it's like-
I just rammed an ambulance straight down, and I'm still alive.
but yeah, it's that. And one of the other things was the elevator fight.
Oh, yeah.
You cannot. They had this random elevator fight. Frank's getting ready to go down after this young girl that he's protecting, and they have this big shootout. Him and this
Where he
psycho-
fights the cops.
Yes.
Okay.
And the elevator opens up, and it's 4 cops, and they know who he is. He knows who they are, of course. They're the NYPD. And he goes into the elevator and starts fighting. The first thing I thought of was, you can't do an elevator fight after
No.
Chris Hemsworth or
No.
Chris.
Well, I mean, I'm okay with the elevator fight. It's just like,
But dude,
it's
come
lazy.
on.
It's part of the laziness.
Yeah, it's like, oh wait, and that's what I was thinking. It was like, okay, Winter Soldier.
Mm-hmm.
You had Chris, not Pine, one of the Chris's.
Yeah.
Chris Pine, Hemsworth.
Yeah, whatever the fuck.
But he did the ultimate elevator
Yeah,
fight,
yeah.
right? And it seemed like someone was like, hey man, let's put an elevator fight
Yeah,
there.
exactly.
Seen the work in Winter Soldier.
Yeah, and
then-
Daredevil had the stairway and stuff. Yeah, I got
but
you.
at least that's a little bit of a different convention
Yep.
as far as Daredevil. This was like,
But we
nah.
saw where they were going. And that's another thing. It was predictable.
And then
Oh,
one
I
last
hate that. That's my biggest pet peeve in movies. Don't
It was-
be predictable.
it was pretty predictable.
Especially shows. If I'm investing a binge time and I'm investing 10 plus hours, don't fucking be predictable. And 2, get to the fucking point. Don't make me wait 8 episodes
Yes.
to get to that point.
And
Exactly right, Nick.
I'm being honest in the fact that I pretty much guessed what he was going to do with that priest at the end. I knew he was not going to kill him
Yeah, because he had kids.
because he had kids.
Yeah.
And I was like,
And that priest was a devil, man.
Yeah, he
that
was.
dude, if anybody should have died, that fucker should have died. You're going to put that guy in charge of 2 young kids?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
You're fucking ridiculous. And then at the very end, it's like 3 months later, he's all healed up. They do this totally gratuitous sign off to where he's like the Madani, now she was
CIA.
She's now CIA. Oh, by the way, that happens all the time.
Yeah.
You go from Homeland to Security
Which
to CIA.
you've been like in trouble with your
yeah,
own.
you're the shittiest agent they got.
Yeah. You let go Frank Castle, but
Yeah.
hey, guess what? You're CIA.
Yeah, now you're South
It doesn't
American
happen
CIA.
like that.
yeah.
Well, it's almost like sounding like
And then she
these
called for
guys
his
that were
help.
running the
Yeah.
show with
Yeah, from South America.
They knew before that what was going to happen, and they just said, "Fuck it, we're not really going to try."
Yeah, it almost
They knew
did.
they knew the word coming down the street that Netflix wasn't going to re-sign them. All right, fuck it.
Yeah, or they got ass banged by producers. You
Yeah,
know?
probably. It could be both.
And then the last thing, and then we'll move on to Narcos. But the last thing was they did this totally gratuitous thing where he gets a call from this Madani, who's now a CIA agent in South America, who's asking him for asking Castle for his help, and he goes, "I already have a job," like that, and he goes in, and there's these gang members who look like they're about 15. Sitting across from one
Yeah.
another, but they are like, "What? You didn't bring the product? What? And they start cocking guns.
Oh
and
yeah,
pulling
that
out
was
guns.
so
It's
stupid.
terrible.
Yeah.
And then he comes in, and of course he comes in. He's got they're doing tribute to the source material. He's got a long leather jacket. He's got now a brand new vest with a skull on it, and he's got 2 automatic weapons in each hand. And he just starts mowing them down.
Yeah.
I'm like, you just look like you killed a bunch of members from NSYNC or some, you know, yeah. Like it was just bad. And the only thing I liked after that was that they said in memory of Stan Lee.
Yeah, it was bad.
That's it.
Yeah,
So that was the best part, the memory of Stanley.
Yeah.
that was the best part.
Yeah, watch something else. Watch Narcos. Watch Last Kingdom. Watch Peaky Blinders. Don't waste your time on that second season of
Yeah.
Punisher.
It's just it went out.
My wife wanted me to have Aiden on because he watched it, and the only reason why I didn't was because I knew how much you guys didn't like it, and he loved it. And I didn't want to get that whole like point of view because he's 14. He's gonna like stick to his guns, and he's not gonna understand what we talked about earlier about good content versus bad content. He's at an age where you blow shit up, and that's cool.
Yeah,
You
well,
know?
we talked about this for a minute, right?
Yeah.
It's like you can have good content 2 minutes at a time if you're used to watching YouTube videos that
Yeah,
entertain you
yeah.
for 2 minutes at a time.
Yeah, and that's he doesn't look to the backstory. We tried to get him to watch A Star Is Born the other night. He had no interest.
Nah,
I'm like, dude, this is a quality fucking movie.
good, but gotta admit, man, if you
he
at
led-
14 years old, would you have been interested in The Star Is Born?
Me, no, but he likes music, so I figured, Lady Gaga.
Did he
Yeah.
like La La Land?
He ain't gonna watch La La Land. That's gay shit.
All right. Anything else, gentlemen?
Sorry, I
Nah.
gotta wrap it.
No, I know you got to get going, Nick. Thank you, everybody, for joining us for this week's episode of Nick, John, and Jamie Show. Please be sure to subscribe to our show on iTunes and Google Play and Stitcher and every other place. We're everywhere. Just look us up; you'll find us. And and if you do find us, send us a kind word or give us a kind review or a 5-star review. Anything that would be helpful for beneficial to the podcast. So thank you, everybody, and have an awesome week.